Really, intentional, really good week of work all the way around, culminated today with a really good Friday practice. Feel like this is a confident football team that, really just went back to work this week in an attempt to go try to be 1-0 this week and focus on controlling what we can, and that's this opportunity that will be a tough challenge going down to Carolina, road environment, good athletic team flying around on their home field. We're going to have to play well, and my hope is we continue to improve each and every week of the season, and it's about going 1-0 every week. Might sound like a cliche, but that's what we need to do. Each and every opportunity we have is control our preparation and attack this thing our way of doing things. So wanted to update you guys on just a couple injuries. Lewis Seen will be out with the hamstring, hoping that he can progress and that this is not hopefully a long-term deal for Lewis. He's doing well with his treatment. Jaron Hall did have a personal related matter come up today. He was here earlier in the day for meetings and went to handle that, expecting him to still make the trip and be a part of the game as our emergency third quarterback. Garrett Bradbury and Marcus Davenport will both go in questionable. They've had good weeks of work. We'll see how they respond overall and see if we can have both those guys up and rolling this weekend.
What happened to Lou with that? What happened?
Yeah, it was it was actually pre-game. It was actually pre-game last week, not pre-game, pre-practice, pre-game practice, I should say, in the middle of a drill. Opened up and just kind of felt the hammy a little bit. Didn't seem, from everything that I've been told, he's working through it pretty quickly.
You've seen just from Dalton working in with some of the ones this week?
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job, kind of making sure he understands our language. Those calls, they happen fast. There's some code words, just understanding, making up for some time that group's had together. But he's really working both sides and prepared and ready to go. And, depending on how everything shakes out with Garrett as we work towards game time, that will kind of determine kind of what that overall group of guys up for the game looks like.
You would want him to play with Garrett? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's just, based upon the center position, not only the starter, the backup, making sure we've got, all the spots slotted, barring any, things that could come up in the game.
If you need to or you want to use Risner, do you think he's ready to help you?
Yeah, I think he's going to be available to us. I just had a conversation with him. He's fired up. I did think that Ed and Ezra had really good weeks of practice coming off of a game where they were huge as far as how we were running the football. You look at some of our combinations inside, the movement. I think, we're really seeing kind of the hope of a competitive situation, pushing everybody to be better and to continue to improve.
Kevin, as you consider offensive line combinations there, is Blake Brandel an option to get in there at all?
Yeah, no, Blake's, he had great training camp. He's been, available and really, working the three interior spots as well. And he's part of that discussion each and every week of making sure we're putting the best five guys out there with a chance to move the ball, both in the run and the pass, the most effectively.
From the offensive line perspective, just having the tackles that you do, I mean, what's the biggest area they impact when you can count on Darrisaw and O'Neal each week to be two of the best in the game?
Yeah, I just think it's the way they solidify, everything from a standpoint of maybe being able to game plan like we have at times this year, how to help, the interior versus some of the matchups we've had. And those guys are always up for the challenge. We've had some pretty significant pass rushers on the edges from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. It's been challenge after challenge, and with Burns and Houston, I mean, it's the same thing again this week, and that seems to be the case with how people are building their teams nowadays. So we're very, very fortunate to have two tackles we're very confident in.
How much does the familiarity with Ejiro Evero help this week, or just, I guess, your familiarity with him as a coach and some of the things they run scheme-wise?
Yeah, I just think I think he does a great job, and really he did in L.A. in his role there, and then when he got a chance to run it in Denver, They were a really, really good defense flying around. You turn on the tape, you see so many good characteristics of quality defense and a scheme that you can tell the players have total ownership of. And in year one, you can see he's I know they've kind of dealt with some injuries here and there, but you can see he's doing the same thing there. It's going to be a challenge for our offense. All three levels of their defense have really talented guys that play really hard, and then the scheme is always going to be a challenge. The way you can kind of really stop the run and also try to put a roof over everything and limit explosives. I think EJ does it as well as anybody.
Coach, this weekend will be CJ's 100th game, and
yeah.
I know you've had him more at the later end of that, but can you speak to the rarity of being able to do that as an undrafted guy and with one team, and just kind of what's enabled him to stick around?
Yeah, I think it's, having gotten to know CJ, it's not as much of a surprise to me that he's been able to accomplish that. He's very talented, tough. I'll tell you what, he's a guy I would have loved to have as a teammate and a leader and a guy with a C on his chest. One of our most respected players in the locker room, one of our most impactful players in this building, on and off the field, for what he does for me as the head coach and our offense and our special teams unit. You cannot, even talk enough ever about the impact of your leadership when it's guys like CJ Ham, and I'm glad you told me that, because that's definitely something to be celebrated for him, and there's going to be many more after that.
Last year you had EK and Jordan in the middle of the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Ivan joining Jordan for a lot of the snaps. What's kind of been the dynamic of a vet who has seen so much football, and the younger player kind of seeing a lot of things for the first time maybe?
Yeah, I think they've played really well off of each other. Really, that whole linebacker group with BA and TD as well. Feel good about those four guys and how the communications works from flow. There's a lot of moving parts, checks and things that really run through that green dot with Jordan, and then the communication of IP, all the stunts, when he's pressuring, communicating with those big guys up front and coverage, working with the back end. He's for a rookie and a guy that's really just gaining experience as he goes. You continuously look at his grade sheet and it shows up positive, and the communication has always been there, which has made it probably the easiest for him to have the role that he's had for himself, and really helped us this year. And he's growing each and every week like all rookies do, and continue to be excited about where he's headed.
Marcus, is the hope to get him to 100%, or is this something he's just going to have to grind throughout the
Yeah,
season?
no, that's the hope. And I think he's had a really good week of work, and we've tried to have, really going back to last week, a real systematic plan for him daily, our work days and the off days, to try to maximize his chances. I think walking off the field today, he feels really good. See how he responds to the work and how that looks for Sunday.
No injury designation for Byron Murphy. You expect he'll be full go on Sunday, or how did he come to the week?
I do. Yeah, he's he's a tough guy and has worked through it, and essentially, we kind of had to hold him back from himself a lot in practice this week, and Byron's done a really nice job for us and handled a lot of responsibilities. Really been a real positive addition to our group.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.